Cloud technology has been something I have always been passionate about. But many people still have doubts about cloud technology, be it because of the data residency concepts of cloud, or be it because they don't understand what cloud can do for them. In this video, I will tell you what cloud technology is, going back to the basics and demystifying cloud for you. So let's get started. I will just brief about cloud very quickly because many of you might already have a very good idea about cloud. The days when I started selling cloud technologies, I had seen a story wherein there was a guy who thought that cloud technology is something related to the clouds which cause rain, and that was really hilarious. I would like to clarify that cloud technology has nothing to do with rain, and this concept is only about solutions which are delivered to you from a remote location. So for example, if you want to benefit from a solution and that solution is not physically present within your office premises and it is hosted somewhere else and you're just benefiting from the service, then you are using or leveraging cloud technology. Cloud has multiple components. When I started working with cloud, we had primarily three terminologies: software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. But today, if you look at the internet, you would have multiple other things. You would have DR as a service, backup as a service, and sometimes business applications as a service, multiple things. Cloud has grown immensely. Now, today we are talking about more of artificial intelligence and machine learning, big data and things like that, rather than cloud technology as a whole. But cloud technology is something which you need to understand really clearly. I work in the Middle Eastern market, and in the Middle Eastern market, in many countries within the market, there is a certain persona, there is a certain perception that cloud technology is negative. It's going to cost more, is going to be more costlier for them to adopt cloud technology. Now, that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. Cloud technology is not really costly. Now, for example, you have a server infrastructure which is running within your local data centers. What would you be investing? For example, you would be investing in the infrastructure, the power supply, the cooling equipments, the backup, the security, and multiple other things like redundancy, failovers, and multiple things, right? When you are maintaining an on-premise tangible server infrastructure, there are many things to look at. But when you talk about a cloud infrastructure, these things are offloaded to the vendor. You only have to look at the service and utilizing the service and leveraging the benefits that your company is going to get from the service which you have. You don't have to worry about if my hardware is failing, if my memory is getting choked, and things like that. Now, that's where the beauty of cloud comes in. If you look at it from a holistic approach, cloud is much more cost effective. But if you just look at it from a lift and shift approach, there is many a times that cloud can become more costlier than your on-premise infrastructure. What do I mean by lift and shift? Now, for example, if you are on an Oracle database infrastructure and your application is on Oracle, you might be ending up having a Windows server on your infrastructure and maybe a Linux server which is there. If you are planning to just lift and shift and host it on the cloud infrastructure, it might be a little expensive for you rather than hosting it on premise. That's because you're just lifting whatever was there and then hosting it on the cloud as it is and then running it from there. There are many organizations who like that model, who don't mind that extra cost which they have to pay because they get the ability to free up their minds from the normal assistance and work which they have to do in troubleshooting these servers and the aging components of these servers. So they like to offload that responsibility to the vendor and stay free on that aspect. They don't mind to pay that extra dollar for that comfort and ability. And that's the real beauty of cloud technology. But at the same time, I'm not saying that everyone should do a lift and shift. People misunderstand lift and shift. People are really not doing the right thing when it comes to lift and shift. A couple of days back, I had a customer coming to me and telling that I want to go cloud. I want to take my infrastructure to the cloud. When I asked him, what is your current infrastructure? What is the specifications of your current infrastructure? He mentioned that he had an application server with about 64 GB of RAM and he wants to move it to the cloud. I asked him, how many GB of RAM does your application provider suggest when it's on cloud? He's like, 64 GB, give me the same. Now, one thing you need to keep in mind is buying RAM locally is cheaper because you just have to pay once and you just pump it up on your infrastructure and you get that amount of RAM. But on the cloud, on a hosted environment, be it AWS, Google Cloud Platform or Azure, doesn't really matter. You are taking a pay-as-you-go model, and even under a commitment, you are utilizing services and resources which is not owned by you, it is owned by the service provider. So you would have to pay up for that. Now, does your application really need that 64 GB of RAM? That is a question which you need to answer first. Does your application need redundancy? Does it need scalability? These are things you need to understand first before jumping onto the cloud technologies which you have. There was another instance wherein there was an e-commerce company who came to us and said, I want to move to cloud. And when I asked them, what is your current infrastructure? They again said, I have an application server, I have a database server. I asked them, how many? They said, one each. I have one application and one database server. And my immediate question was, what happens when the traffic increases? What happens when you have a sale, an annual sale or something wherein every single customer wants to buy from you? What happens when that is something of opportunity which you have? The answer was, my website slows down, my website hangs up, people are not getting the best of experience. That's where you need to go cloud. That's where you need to transition from the on-premise solutions to the cloud technologies. For any e-commerce industry, for any e-commerce solution, I would not recommend you to host your applications locally, because locally your applications cannot scale up. On cloud, that is the beauty. That is the real reason why you need to go cloud, because you have the scalability concept. You have the load balancing concept. You have the redundancy concept. Cloud is beautiful. Cloud is not expensive. It is cost optimized. If you go cloud and if you have a lot of traffic on your website, traffic can convert into revenue. Traffic can convert into sale. If you are not giving your traffic, your visitors, your customers the best of experience, your customers will go to your competitor. And that revenue which you were supposed to make would be made with your competition rather than with you. So if you want your customers to convert with you, you need to adopt a cloud solution. And again, if you go to the cloud solution and you just keep your one application server and one database server, the customer won't have the best of experience. You need to adopt cloud in the way it needs to be adopted. You need to go with something of a platform as a service technology on cloud so that you can scale up easily. You can also go with the infrastructure model and you can scale up in vertically or horizontally. Now, again, when I talk about vertical scaling or horizontal scaling, it might be a little confusing. Let me explain with an example. Horizontally means it is going in a horizontal manner, and vertically means it is going in a vertical manner. Now, in the computer terminology, if you understand this, you're talking about resources. Like for example, if an application server is good with maybe 2 GB of RAM for a certain amount of traffic, but if the traffic increases, you need to scale up. You need to automatically fire up multiple machines, and through a load balancer you need to throw traffic towards the newer formed applications, and you need to have a loosely coupled database so that your traffic can access the database from a self-managed database instance which is there behind the infrastructure. So there is an architecture which you need to develop so that you can benefit and you can scale up or scale down to save cost whenever it's needed. Because if you're scaling up, you're getting that much revenue because you have that much traffic on your website. But when you don't have traffic, you don't have to waste money in that higher end infrastructure. You can scale down and save money. So that is the concept of cloud technology. If you want to learn more on how you as an organization can go cloud or transform your infrastructure to cloud, feel free to reach out to us on connect@gulfinfotech.com, and I would be happy to have a one-on-one discussion with you into understanding your exact infrastructure, because everyone's infrastructure is different more or less, and I would be able to help you if you need to really go cloud, if you need to do a backup on cloud, if you need to do a DR on cloud, or if you need a platform as a service rather than an infrastructure as a service. So this is all what we can help you with. Feel free to reach out to us on connect@gulfinfotech.com. I have put the email address down in the description below. If you like this video, don't forget to share it with your friends or colleagues. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like this video and hit the bell icon to know more about cloud and get these videos whenever I launch things like this. So as always, stay safe, take care, and have a nice one.